Okay. Hey, successful women. Okay. How are you guys doing? Hi to YouTube viewers as well. Glad you can hang out with us today. Hey to the replay watchers. Make sure you let us know that you stopped by in the comments if you weren't able to catch this live. And hi to all my VIPs of the group. Love you guys. Guys, we are coming up on Thanksgiving here in the United States, a day where we take some time to hang out with the fam, some time to eat some good food, some turkey and stuffing, right? Some pies. Are you getting hungry yet? Because I know I am. After this live, I'm going to make my stuffing for tomorrow. But most importantly, we take some time to be thankful for everything that we have. We want to be thankful for everything that we are working to get. Already be thankful for things that you're working on that you don't have yet, right? Make sure that you do that. After that is Black Friday, busiest shopping day of the year, right? Let us know in the comments if you have some Black Friday specials happening, okay? So we can check them out. And everyone say a big hello to my friend Paige. Paige will be waiting in the comments with an Amazon gift card for a lucky live viewer in the Facebook group right now. Now, my guest today is, and I know I'm probably going to say her name wrong, Janin. Did I say that right? She is a visual coach. I'm so bad with names. She's a visual coach who teaches entrepreneurs how to build standout settings or backgrounds for all of your videos, right? She's coming to us today with how to visualize content on screen without slides. So I'm dying to hear this. So let's welcome Janin.
Hello,
Hello.
everyone.
I'm saying it right, Janin?
Yes,
Oh,
correct.
pretty. Thank you so much for being here. I know I was making a joke that I didn't know there was such thing as a visual coach. I love it. It's like something that is so needed, and I absolutely love it. So I love that you are here, and you're going to tell us all this really good stuff. So I can't wait to hear it. So I will give you the floor, and thanks for hopping on.
Thank you, Katie. Thank you so much. A big hello, everyone. My name is Janin, as Katie said. I'm located in Vienna, in Austria. This is where my accent is coming from. And I'm not also a visual coach. I'm also a screen trainer. That means that, especially in online business, it's so important that you just take care of your screen appearance. And that's not about how to look, but what you're sharing on screen and how you're using it. So I came up with I want to come up with a few numbers. And I think the most important number that I want to share with you, and that is actually a classical a design slide, and that is 80%. So here in Europe, we had a big study, and that says that 80% of every webinar host, and that includes also challenge, master classes, workshop, bootcamps, however you call that, name is not so important, but that 80% of the webinar hosts love to visualize their content by creating a slide. But the more important, and I think the more interesting number is the same. It's 80% of the people watching a webinar find that super boring. I know maybe it's a little bit exaggerated. It doesn't mean that everyone is dozing off, but we are consuming so many slides on so many webinars, and when it's not done correctly or properly, then it can be really, really boring. And the thing is, what's happening and what you don't see when you are hosting your webinar is when there is no action going on the screen. And you cannot make it that the screen counts for people watching you. It has to really count for the people watching, so that they stay in front of your screen. When nothing happens there, then people start to go for all those distractions that are coming in. So they open up another tab, they're checking their emails, they're watching the videos, they're starting conversation on a smartphone, they're putting on their headphones, but because there is nothing really important going on the screen. And then what happens when they leave the screen, even when they're still are listening to you, is that they take away the attention. But you need their attention 100% to make a sale. So what you need to do is really to keep them captivated in front of the screen, and therefore you need to visualize your content. And visualizing your content is not putting keywords onto a slide. So I want to demonstrate you what it means when you come up with a slide, even if it's perfectly designed. It's not about the design or that it doesn't look so nice. But what happens normally is that the sign takes over the screen, the slide takes over the whole screen and hides you. So I'm somewhere here, and all the platforms or the softwares that you're using, they will put you in one of the corners, and you lose the visual connection with your audience. And what mostly is done on a slide is that it's actually just a summary of what you're talking anyway. So a lot of people are just putting some keywords there, maybe some graphics or matching images, but that is not actually visualizing. It's just repeating what you're saying anyway. And people normally don't need you to be on screen because they can read anyway. So what my suggestion is, if you have that content, like a summary, keep that, but turn it into a workbook and send it afterwards, because actually it's only repetition of what you're talking. What you need to do is not to visualize the text. What you need to do is to visualize the meaning of the text. So the result of the text, what does your text mean? What is the key message of your text? And that is what I want you to be aware of, and to have a closer look on your content. What can you take out of it and really visualize it by telling a story? So I have prepared a little demonstration, a little example for you what I mean. So that is my suggestion. So when my clients are coming to me, then they have a program already. They have a program that they want to sell in or promote or introduce in a webinar or a challenge. Okay, that means that we need to have a closer look on the content. And there are actually two things that you need to do in a webinar in order to make a sale. And that is first to really showcase the problem and making your audience aware of the problem that they have. But because you need your audience to be on a special, on a certain level in order to pick them up and offer them a solution. So this is the way how you can now just write this text and bullet points and bring it onto a slide, but you can also visualize it in that way. So sorry, sometimes mistakes are happening. So here you are. Here is your client, and your client is on the street to success. Okay, and we all know when we are on our way to success, we need to make many steps, and we need to do different things, and we are not good in everything. So in order to take the next step, you need to have your knowledge and your skills. And then what happens then is that a problem is coming up, something that you don't know how to deal with, something that you don't know how to overcome. And your job in a webinar, in a good webinar, is to really showcase that problem so that your audience is able to identify with that. And then they say, that is exactly what I am dealing right now. But sometimes they're just not aware of that. So you need to be very clear of that and telling them, okay, this is what's happening when you're not doing ABC, okay? And then, so that means that for your clients, they cannot do the next step. They want to get to the results, but they cannot do the next step because that problem is in their way. And you're showcasing that. And then you can come up, once you have done that, you can come up with a good solution and take that problem. Sorry. So now it's working. Take that problem away of their way so that they can now do the next step. And that is visualizing by telling a story. That is visualizing the meaning of the text. That means I want to teach you how you are showcasing that problem, making your people, your audience aware of that so that they can identify with them. And then you're making an offer so that there is no reason for them to say no to your offer. And in this case, this is how you really visualizing. Visualizing is not summarizing up in a few keywords or bullet points. It's really telling a story, and you can do that very easy directly onto your screen. So I don't know if there are any comments coming in because I don't see that. maybe Katie is letting me know. You can, of course, leave me all your questions there. I know the questions that I hear mostly is, what am I using here? So instead of putting all my content onto a slide and then be somewhere hidden behind the slide, is what I'm doing is I'm creating so-called screen visuals. These are screen visuals. You can do it very easily with very easy shapes. You can do it with graphics. That depends, and this is what I'm teaching, so that you really have a closer look to your content. What is the key message? What do you want to say? What does your audience needs to understand in order to come to you? Because in the end of the webinar, you want to make the sale, and you can only make a sale to an audience that is still there, that is not leaving. So we have the statistics, and statistics says that normally only 30 to 40% who are shown up in the beginning of the webinars are still there in the end. And when you want to make a sale, then you need just to keep them. You need to keep more people in front of the camera to the end, until the end of the webinar, in order to make more sales. So therefore, it's super important that you really know very precisely and clear what is the key message, what do you want to offer, bring it onto the screen, make your screen count. So it's not possible that your audience is leaving the screen. That is the rule. You need them to keep in front of the screen and to prioritize what you want to say. When they prioritize watching your webinar, they keep there and they say no to the distractions. Distractions are always coming in, but it's important that your audience is prioritizing watching your video now, so that they keep there until the end. Okay. And I have, of course, a example for you, and this is one of my clients. Her name is Felice, and she is a content coach in Germany. And she had won a masterclass in her programs that she was doing very often. She never made a sale out of it. She came up with her slides, and there were not so many attendees there, and she never could make a sale. But she didn't want to throw it out completely of her program, and she wanted to give it another chance, because actually the content was very good. So she came into my training, and after that, she looked like that. And you see now the difference. She did not, she was not hidden behind her, it's somewhere put into the corner. She's still very present in front of the camera. So visually, see, she never lost the connection to her audience. And now it was very captivating to follow her visuals onto the screen. And she could make that she could visualize that very clearly. And I asked her to really look on the numbers of her webinar. And she said that in the last webinar, where she didn't make a sale, she had about 30% that stayed to the end. After the training with the new one, she could increase the numbers of people who stayed until the end up to 78%. That is almost the double. And because there were so many people staying at the end, although she had only 50 attendees, it was not a big masterclass. She had only 50 attendees, but she could sell her program, that was a one-to-one coaching, 2 times, and made a sale of 6.6K. So it really makes a difference to take care of what you're showing and how you're showing it, and make it super captivating for your audience. Yeah, I don't know if there are any comments coming in. I cannot see that, so maybe Katie is telling me. And I have also a program for that. It's called Screen Magic. And all you need to do, so here's the Screen Magic, and all you need to do is come to me and hop on a call, and we talk about it, because it's a one-to-one program, and I have only capacities for 5 clients. Once I have the 5 clients, then I will close the door again. And we do exactly that. That means I help you to define your style, which is super important because you want to show up as a brand, right? And then everything should match together. As your screen appearance should, of course, match to your posts and to your graphics and to your landing page. So we come up with a very simple designed background that is, of course, useful because you need it, especially when you want to share your knowledge and you want to share your content, and you need to have a space for that. So I have a concept for that. So you will have a space for your visions. And if you're asking, yes, everything is real here. It's a real background. Also, these design elements are, everything is real, but I'm combining it with the screen visuals that are digitally created beforehand, and all you have to do is then to upload them, and then you can, you see, make it visible or make it invisible. You can, of course, write your text directly. This is something that is, I can demonstrate that right now. This is something that is very nice because you want to have action going on here, right? And action means that it includes that you are doing something directly on the screen, and therefore people cannot leave the screen and do something else. So I can now say, let's talk directly here. Of course, this is something you cannot read so well, so I will change the color. You can bring in your fonts, your branding fonts, your branding colors, however you like that, and then bring it directly here onto the screen. You can also type in, you can come up with images, you can upload videos and animations, you can share your screen directly on the screen. And so you also don't need to hide behind the screen. My shared screen will be here. And you can also draw directly onto the screen without the need to have InDesign or Photoshop. Everything is for free. And the software I'm using, in order, if you're asking that, just in case that you're asking, that is called OBS. It's actually, it's a software. It's for free. You can upload it anywhere on any device, and doesn't cost you anything. It's all about the idea that is behind it. This is what I'm teaching. But I can recommend OBS. It's coming from the gaming community, and they wanted to have a software that allows them to communicate during the live and during the game. And yeah, I was introduced to it by my son, and I thought that is an amazing tool that you can now use for your webinars and challenges, of course, also for your lives. And it's completely independent from the platform. So I'm using it on Zoom, I'm using it on StreamYard, and I'm using it when I go live, directly live on Facebook. So there are actually no limits here. You can do everything. The most important thing is that you know what you're sharing and how you're sharing it. Okay, I would say thank you for listening. If you have any questions, then I am allowed to share my link to Screen Magic here. That's the program, and would like to invite you there.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I did actually ask in the chat if you could put the link to that software that you're using. Maybe you could just put the link in there when you get a second,
Yep.
just so that we have, because that's like really interesting. That's really cool. I've never even seen anything like that before. That's really, really cool.
So I'm coming up. It's OBS Studio, and it's what I know available in, I think, about 30 languages or so. You can choose your language. It's really open for everything.
All right. Well, make sure you check out Janin's link that's in the description. She's going to put some more links in the comments. Thank you so, so much for being here. I really appreciate it. And Janin's going to hang out in the comments for a little bit. So ask any questions.
Thank you, Katie.
Thank you. All right, guys, that was so cool. I've never, ever seen anything like that before. I love what I do. I just get to meet like new and interesting people all the time that do all kinds of interesting things. So the title for today's lesson from me is the 4 levels of force. Did I pique your interest with that one? Because this one's really interesting. And I apologize, it's going to be a little bit longer, but I wanted to give you something really, really good to get into to help you with your mindset, because we're getting into this really busy time of the year. really busy for sales, really busy for family life and everything. So I just want to give you a lot of mindset work here, something that you can work on as you go through this season, okay? So it's the 4 levels of force. So if you're taking notes, write that down. 4 levels of force, all right? And so let's start to go through them. And then also at the end, I'm going to give you some points at the end of how you can actually use them and get yourself to a higher level. Okay. So I was having a conversation with someone not that long ago, and they were talking to me about just all the changes that I've made and that I've had happening in my life and the growth that I've had happen over the last couple of years. Just like they were just kind of like watching me on my journey, right? Kind of following along from the outside. And they were asking me, like, just kind of like observing where I am today. And I still think I'm nowhere close to where I will be and who I will become. But they were asking me basically, how did it happen? Like the amount of growth that I've had as a communicator and as a thinker and as a leader, like how did that happen? So this sparked this in me to kind of research this a little bit more and get it into paper, pen and paper. And so that's what we're going to talk about today is the 4 levels of force. Okay? When it comes to personal development, progress, growth, it's going to be a journey, right? It's all a journey. And so the 4 levels, they're sequential. You cannot skip a level. All right. So in order to get to level 3, you have to have already been at level 2 and level 1. They need to happen in order, meaning you can't go level 1, from level 1 and then go to level 4 and skip level 2 and 3. You just can't jump. It's like going to the gym and, if I'm doing push-ups, if I'm on rep 9 of the push-ups, I've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You know what I mean? There's no skipping. So you have to like do all the push-ups to get to level 9, right? So what's important to know is that you have to become ruthlessly vulnerable and honest with yourself, right? To indicate which of these levels that you're currently operating at. All right. This is going to be like some personal awareness when it comes to these 4 levels. We're going to talk about for growth, for personal development, for progress, and for leadership, excuse me. And so why are they levels? Because when you're honest with yourself and you take a look at this at what level you're currently operating at, then you know what is the next level, right? What is the next level that's in store for you? What's next in your journey? All right. And so there are a lot of levels that we have to go through, right? And there's these great situations that come up in our life in order for us to grow, to evolve. And you want to become the next level, right? You're here at level 2, so you're better than level 1, right? But there's some growth that happened, but there's still more to be done. All right. So keep in mind as you become more and more, right? And you create more impact and you have more clients and you have a team, right? People around you that you're leading, at the absolute most, they can only match your level. All right. Think about that. They can only match your level of force. If I'm overseeing a team, which I am, if I'm only at level 2, at the very best, my team can only match my level. Right. And more often than not, they won't match me. They'll usually be just a little bit under me. So that's why it's important to always look for that next level, right? And that next sequence for growth, for more development, right? And as you oversee a team and clients and the people in your life, right? Those people, they're going to see you as a higher performer. So they can only meet you at the level that you're at. All right. I know that's not a big explanation yet, but I hope that makes sense so far. All right. Tell me if you're starting to understand some of this. So, how many of you guys know that you're leaders, right? You're starting a coaching business or a network marketing team or some other kind of business where you have to lead customers or staff or students or something like that, right? If you have clients, if you have a team, if you're growing, right? You're probably growing. So for you to be a leader, right? Just understand that the people around you will always match or just be lower than at your level, than the level that you're at, excuse me. So those two prerequisites for you to just kind of download into your thinking for today, right? Level 1 is the understanding that the concept for leadership and the concept for the levels. And number 2 is to be brutally honest with yourself when you're figuring out exactly which level that you are at. Okay. And then understand that they have to be in sequence. You know, to get to level 3, you have to reach level 2 and then level 1 as well. Kind of like a video game, right? So let's make it be fun. All right. So we're going to get into the 4 levels of force. Okay. So write it down here in your notes. Number 1 of the 4 levels of force is inspiration, right? Inspiration is the thought. Inspiration is the feeling, right? I literally looked up the definition of inspiration, of being inspired. And it talks about like you get the feelings of this, right? It's just feelings. It's nothing more, nothing less than feelings. So in my opinion, inspiration is the concept of what could be and what can be. Inspiration, to be inspired, right? I've been there. I'm sure you guys have been there, right? How many of you guys have ever been inspired, right? I mean, all of us have been inspired, right? You're inspired by your family member. You're inspired by your next door neighbor. You're inspired by a coach. You're inspired by a teacher, right? Someone inspired you, maybe a total stranger. Maybe a total stranger inspired you. Maybe a celebrity or an athlete. They're so inspirational, right? But as quickly as inspiration can come with the snap of a finger, inspiration can go, right? You watch a YouTube video and you get inspired, right? You feel inspired quickly. But as quickly as inspirations come, they go just as quickly. You can feel inspired to go work out. You can feel inspired to wake up early. You can feel inspired to go and write an organic post, right? To, attract more buyers. You can feel inspired to go and connect with 10 people on Facebook and shoot them a DM, right? You can get and feel inspired for the day. But the thing with inspiration and why it's at level 1, like it's like the base, right? Why it's the lowest level is because many people become addicted and infatuated with the enchantment of being inspired. And the reason that I say enchantment is because like it's like an enchantment, I guess. Basically, people become infatuated with feeling inspired. They become addicted. They become obsessed with the feeling of inspiration. It's free. It's no work. You're just sitting there getting inspired, right? The reason we like getting enchanted and feeling inspired is because it feels good. It's like a dopamine hit. It feels good to be inspired. And how many of you guys have ever felt inspired and terrible at the same time? It can happen, right? The energies, they just don't match, right? And so it's not the feeling good or feeling bad, or feeling inspired is bad, but it can't stop there. Okay, that's why inspiration is not a level 0, it's a level 1. It's a great start, but it can't be the finisher for your life's mission, right? Feeling good does not always move the progress needle, right? It just feels good. It's kind of like, think of inspiration as like a box of unlit matches, right? The potential is there inside the box, right? But unless there's movement that follows that inspiration, right? And those matches, they could light a candle, they could light a campfire, they could light a bonfire, right? But unless movement follows that inspiration, the matches are about as powerful as they can be, right? They will always have the potential to be something more. So the movement must follow that inspiration. And what's another word for movement? Another word for movement might be action or momentum, right? Action is the name of the game. Perfect massive action. I did a training on that maybe last month or the month before. Massive action, right? So that's what has to happen. So we got level 1, inspiration. right? Level 2 out of the 4 levels of force is motivation. Motivation. So I've heard some clients say this, and it drives me a little bit crazy. It's just a little bit of a pet peeve, and I don't take anything personally, obviously, but they kind of call mindset motivation. And I know what you mean by that, but mindset is not motivation. These are not just talks. This is not, this shouldn't be used as motivation. They're designed to help you become more, to expand your thinking, to become more self-aware, to think deeper, right? So when it comes to motivation, I would say motivation is like inspiration's older brother, right? It's a little bit bigger, it's a little stronger, there's a little more power. It's a few iterations away from being inspired. We use morning formulas, morning routines when you sit down and you center yourself and you do your morning visualization and you think about all the things that you're going to create for the day, right? And you use it for your source of motivation, right? But if that's what you're using for if that's what you're using your morning formula for motivation, it's kind of like getting into a car and turning the keys and putting the heater on the car just to warm yourself up when you're cold, right? Using the car to heat yourself up. But you're not getting in the car and driving. So you're underutilizing the vehicle for what it's actually designed to do, right? It's designed to get you from point A to point B safely, quickly, efficiently, and effectively, right? And if you're using your morning routine for motivation, for that feeling of motivation, you're ultimately doing yourself a disservice because you're just barely scraping the surface of what you could become. If you're using it for visualization, for getting infatuated with that feeling, right? I've been there, right? Becoming exciting with the feeling of what you're going to have and what you're going to be able to do and how amazing it's going to be. And that's all well and good, but it can't stop there. So just know that visualization and imagery, that's huge, right? It's important, but it's not all of it. There's more to the pie that's available to you. So when it comes to motivation, to the average class thinker, being someone who is motivated is deemed impressive. It's admirable, right? You're so motivated. With the average class thinker, you would say, like, you would think that they would applaud you for being motivated, right? I wish I could be more like you. You're so motivated. To the world class, right? To the greatest of the great, motivation is just a non-sustainable energy source when it comes to personal growth and achievement. So while it's easy to become addicted to that feeling, to getting into that, to be addicted to the feeling of being inspired and being motivated, it's just as easy to be caught up in a cycle of always seeking praise. Are you seeking people to motivate you? Think about that. And this is the biggest issue, right? And my motivation, that's why I put motivation only at level 2 out of the 4. You guys with me so far? Are you kind of keeping up with this? I know it's a little crazy to think about, right? And I'm hoping I'm explaining it right, right? But give me a thumbs up if you're following so far. But let me ask you this question. Who here has either heard someone say, if we're being brutally honest, right? Or you've said it to yourself, I'm just having a really hard time staying motivated. Who here has said that before? I, I'm raising my hand because I've said that before, right? I used to think motivation was the goal. I just want to be this motivated individual. I come from a background of the health space and I was caught up with motivation and motivated people. And here's the thing. When you get caught up in motivating others, for people to look at you like, how are you so motivated? Or finding motivation from other people, when you get caught up in the applause from that, like Like sometimes I see people like maybe like inside this group or other groups or whatever, they come in and they get so caught up on motivation where it feels good, writing posts that feel good, talking about it. It feels good getting fire emojis, right? I'm not saying it's all bad, right? But you're getting fire emojis, getting comments, getting shares. They're great, but they're vanity metrics. And you can't get caught up in them, right? They're not all good. I should say they're good, but they're not all bad either. Do you know what I mean? But is it actually moving the needle? Is it actually doing anything? Tony Robbins said motivation is like a hot shower or a warm bath. It's something you need to do every day, but it's not going to actually be the thing that moves us forward when it comes to growth and progress. Motivation can show up as a feeling because it's stronger than inspiration, so you can actually have an emotional response, and that could turn into action. But most of the time, when you look at motivation, especially for someone who's like, I'm having a hard time getting motivated, most of the time, the motivation just does turn into action. The action is very inconsistent. It's very inconsistent. Why does this happen? Any guesses why this happens? I'll tell you, this happens because comfort. I'm not so motivated that I want to be out of my comfort zone. When you invest in a program for your business, like a coaching program or something like that, it's a vehicle, right? But really, what you're doing is you're investing in yourself, right? I'm investing in my future self. I'm investing in growth. I'm investing in personal development. I'm investing in becoming more, achieving more, experiencing more, right? So, yes, you invested in a program. That's great. Good for you. But what you really did was invest in yourself, in case you forgot. Friendly reminder. You're invested in yourself. That's what you did. So let me ask you, which is harder for you to say? I invested in a course and I didn't get my results, or I invested in myself and then I became afraid of writing organic posts, or I became afraid to go live, or I became afraid to decide my niche and I didn't get any results. I would say the latter is kind of harder to say. So anytime you're catching yourself with excuses and stories and limitations, I invite you to remind yourself that you invested, most importantly, into yourself and into your dreams and who you want to become, the impact that you want to make in your life. Okay, so just powerful reminder of that. So motivation, people are motivated, but those same people who are motivated, they hit the snooze button on the alarm, and not just once, they hit it 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Their actions are inconsistent at best. So that's level 2. So who's ready for level 3? Who's ready to get past inspiration and past motivation? So inspiration is level 1. Level 2 is motivation. Level 3, and some of you may think this is the final level, like if we're in that video game analogy, the final level. When it comes to the 4 levels of force for personal growth and development, level 3 is drive. And drive is what separates the good from the great. To be driven, to have drive, to do whatever it takes mentality. Drive is the maximum conscious effort. No matter the circumstances, drive is like waking up at 5 a.m. and not hitting snooze, even when you feel like it, even when you think about it. You're supposed to go for a run, but it's raining outside. Do you skip today? You have those demons in the back of your mind saying, it's cold, it's raining, right? Drive is staying up late reviewing a replay of a call, even when you're tired and you want to go to bed. Drive comes from desire. Drive comes from desire, and desire revolves around your needs. Desire revolves around lack. Desire revolves around your wants. And desire can be strong. Desires can be very, very strong. Here's the thing. And here's the thing that I don't want you to misinterpret about what I'm saying. There will be seasons where drive, and another word for drive could be push, They could be seasons where you just push, 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 right? That's what to be driven looks like. It feels like a push. And there will be seasons where the push is required of you, right? But as powerful as being driven in is, sorry, there is one force stronger than that. And that will give you longevity. Someone say longevity in the chat. Let me know that you're still here. I'm looking at the chat right here. Because if we're here and we're building generational wealth, right? That's why we're here on this group. We need to play the long game. We need to focus on longevity. So level 3 is good. Being in a season where you have a lot of drive or you have a lot of push is a good thing. But if you really want to get to the 4th level, we need to focus on longevity. Longevity is the name of the game. Having drive within you will take you so much farther than being inspired and motivated, because it'll give you the power to push obstacles out of the way, right? Push them right out of the way. And some of you guys just have so many obstacles, right? I know I still have some. And you need to have a little more drive. You need to be able to push them out of the way. You need someone to tell you it's okay to push for a season in your life. Push away excuses. Push away all those excuses that are in front of you. Get them out of the way, okay? So that is level 3. The 4th and final level, the Mecca of all levels, right? The promised land. Okay, we've got inspiration, motivation, drive, and the last one is pull. Pull, being pulled. So a couple of seconds ago, we talked about having drive and how the driven separates the good from the great. Having a vision, having a force that pulls you is what separates the great from the world class. Okay, being pulled is knowing your why, knowing your whys and knowing your won'ts. Why are you here? Why are you in this beautiful and simultaneously challenging arena that we call entrepreneurship? Why are you on this planet? And what won't you do? What won't you do to deviate from these whys? What won't you do in order to stay focused? What stories and excuses won't you carry going forward? Okay, a couple of minutes ago, we talked about drive, the 3rd level of force, and how it's a maximum conscious effort. Drive is the maximum conscious effort. You are someone who is being pulled from a vision. You are taking the same maximum conscious effort that comes from drive, and you're utilizing it at an unconscious level. Did you catch that? When you are being pulled, you're taking that same maximum effort, the maximum conscious effort that comes from drive. When you push, 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 push past obstacles, no longer allowing excuses to be in your life, pushing in that season in your life to achieve more, to grow, to get outside your comfort zone. And you're internalizing that drive with your why, and you're utilizing it at an unconscious level. So when we are pulled by our vision. There's no obstacles. There's nothing standing in our way, right? There are no obstacles. There's only opportunities when you are pulled by your vision. When there is congruency between our vision and our action, this is a writer downer. When there is congruence between our vision and our action, you are a visionary. When there is incongruence between your vision and your action, you're simply a daydreamer. That's not my quote. That was a quote from Steve Sable. He said, when there is congruence between your vision and your action, you are deemed a visionary. When there is incongruence between your vision and your actions, you are simply a daydreamer. Okay? We talk about drive coming from desire. Pull comes from passion. Pull comes from purpose. When you live in a state of passion, you also live in a state of fulfillment. at all times. Let me tell you a little secret. When you live from passion, when you live from that state of fulfillment, fulfillment is a magnet for success. It's a magnet for growth and impact. I heard a quote on social media the other day, and I saw a quote, and I don't really agree with it. And it said, inspiration fires you up, but motivation keeps burning. So I don't know about that. And I think the person that wrote that, maybe they didn't realize that there was two more levels of force, right? So they're halfway there. They're okay. They're doing okay. But my iteration of that is when it comes to pull, because that's the name of the game, when you have pull in your life, you're not only continuously burning, but you have the ability to light other people up along the way, right? When you're coming from a state of poor vision, poor passion, very little purpose, what kind of a leader are you being? When you're coming from a state of pull, and pull is driving your passion, your purpose, your fulfillment, you are on fire. You will have steady motivation. You will have continuous burn. There's no outside force that needs to keep you going to inspire you, to motivate you, giving you that kick in the pants, right? Saying, let's go. You don't need it. You don't say things like, I'm just having a hard time getting motivated. You don't need it. Okay. So when you're continuously burning, right now you have the ability to drive to impact other people along the way. And that is the ultimate gift. That is the ultimate gift for really arguably, why we're all here, right? That's the ultimate goal. That's the definition of impact. Okay, so when it comes to the four levels, pull is the end game, having pull in your life. Okay, that's how you get that generational wealth. So to leave you, I'm going to leave you with 5 ways to get more pull in your life. And we'll go through this pretty quickly, right? Let's do this right now. But before we get into the 5 ways, I want to challenge you. And if you want to put it in the chat, if you're brave enough to put it in the chat, that's totally fine. I want you to do a little self-reflection. What level would you rate yourself at right now? Right? If you don't feel comfortable, put it in the chat. Write it down for yourself so that you can see it. So that you have something that you can visually see. What level would you say you're currently operating at? Inspiration, motivation, drive, or pull? Okay. If you feel brave, put it in the chat, in the comments. If not, write it down for today. Write it down for yourself today. Right. And then you'll have something visual that you can start to work on. Okay. So the 5 ways to get pull into your life. Number 1, surround yourself with those who are contagious. Have you ever walked into a room and had a conversation with someone or heard someone speak and they were just so passionate, such a strong pull? You said, man, I want more of that person. I need more of that. I need to be closer to that person. Have you ever had that experience? You surround yourself with just these people that are just so inspirational to you. I hate to say inspiration because that's level 1, but they inspire you to be more like them. You need to surround yourself with as many of those types of people as humanly possible. When someone has strong pull and when someone's passionate and has purpose and lives and breathes and exudes it, they are contagious. So unless you just sit on your hands and cover your eyes and cover your ears, you will adapt and you will grow from those that are above you, that have the pull. So those are the people that you want to surround yourself with. Surrounding yourself with people who are contagious. Intentionally creating your environment. Okay? Number 2 is remove yourself from those who are infectious. You know who they are. Remove yourself from those who are infectious, who are negative, who are small-minded, victims, the victim mentality. Remove yourself from those who are infectious. They will try to blind you from having a vision that goes outside of your comfort zone. They don't want you to go outside of your hometown. They don't want you to go outside of the status quo. that goes outside of charging what everyone else charges, for their services. They want you to play in their small vision when they have absolutely no idea what you're here to actually do. Okay? Clear the weeds out of the garden of your environment. So the thing with environment is that these people who are infecting you, it's not like the flu where you get a touch of the flu and the next day you feel like you get hit by a truck and you feel terrible, right? But then once the flu is gone, it's back to business. If you have infectious people in your life that are speaking negatively, speaking small goals, speaking victimhood into your life, it's like a slow drip filled with poison every single day, being more and more poisonous, running through your veins. And all of a sudden you're going, you didn't even realize that it was taking the life out of you because you could barely notice it. So as I can tell you that as I become more aware of the language and the verbiage and how someone's language and the words they use, what they choose to say about their scenarios, their problems, their circumstances, their struggles, it's an indicator of how that person thinks and how they perceive the world. And so once I really started getting aware and started noticing all of these people in my life who were just negative, it becomes easier once you're conscious of it to call out and address and find those people who are not speaking life into you, who are infectious. And then you can start seeing all the sneaky ways that it shows up in the people around you. Okay? They say you're the average of the top 5 people that you surround yourself with, right? We've all heard that saying before. We say it to kids, we say it to teenagers and stuff. But here's the thing I want to challenge you to think about that most of us haven't considered is that if we're the average of the top 5 people we surround ourselves with, there's a likelihood that those 5 people also have 5 people that they're hanging out with, and they have their own 5 people. So it's like you're absorbing all of that. You're absorbing everyone else's 5 people and their 5 people and their 5 people. So that's why it's just really important to be protective and to be conscious of auditing your circle. Be very protective about that all the time. Okay, someone comes along and is telling you why you can't do something or why or how your ideas are silly, right? They're putting you down. They're speaking ill onto your vision and onto your what you believe your purpose is. Right? Even unknowingly or harmlessly, they may not even realize they're doing it. Protect those boundaries. Do not speak that in my name. It's not the easiest conversation to have, and it can come from love, but it will serve you to surround yourself with those who are contagious and to remove yourself from those who are infectious. Okay. Number 3 is to detach from immediate rewards or recognition. Okay. Detachment. So when you're coming from the 4th level, when you're coming from a place of pull, you don't care about announcing how hard you're working. All the hard work and all the things that you're doing when you're coming from pull. You work in silence and you're okay. You're okay reaping the rewards 3, 6, 12 months from now for your efforts without anybody knowing about it. Detach yourself from the email recognitions, the rewards, all those kinds of recognitions. All right. Number 4 is choose habits over hacks. Choose profitable habits over hacks. I try as much as I can to eliminate the word hack from my vocabulary. Choose habits over hacks, right? How did I do something great? Ask yourself what foundational habits got me there, right? If something didn't work, am I being inconsistent with my habits? What is serving me? Profitable and empowering habits are widely underutilized. What empowering habits can I begin to incorporate into my life that are new? Okay, choose habits over hacks. What habits do I already have and I should do, but I just don't do? I know what serves me and what I need to incorporate into my life, right? What do I need to begin making it more of a practice in my life, right? What can we do more consistently? And often the times the problem isn't adding more. Like you don't need to add more habits all of the time, right? You don't have to stuff more stuff into your routine, but just being more consistent with the stuff that you already know that already works. Choose a couple of those habits and be consistent. Choose habits over hacks. And the fifth and final is to audit your current belief system. Audit your current belief system. Because again, surroundings, environment, there's a high likelihood that you're absorbing that environment's thinking behavior patterns. Okay, their habits, their belief structure. You're not going to be able to have a vision that casts out over miles and miles and miles if you have a wall that's 3 inches from your face. That wall is called limiting beliefs and stories. So audit your current belief system. Your belief system, what you operate from on a daily basis, it has to be empowering. It has to exceed, most likely, the people that are around you right now, right? Going above them. I mean, I hope that for some of you, I hope you have people in your life who are incredibly growth minded, right? Who are empowering you every single day. I hope that for you. But there's also the high likelihood that you also have people in your life who aren't growth minded, who don't feed into that empowerment. And so being conscious of your belief system and what you're taking on needs to be a very strong line, very clear, so that you can have a vision that goes further than where you currently are right now. So auditing your current belief system and being conscious of like where did I take this belief system on? Like, where did this even coming from? Where did I consciously take this on? Why did I ever adopt this belief? Okay. So be really conscious of that. So number 1, surround yourself with people who are contagious. Number 2, remove yourself from those who are infectious. Okay. Number 3, detach from immediate rewards or recognition. All right. Do it for yourself. Do it for the vision. Do it because you love doing it. Right? Do you love exercising? Do you love working out? You don't do that for recognition or for reward. We do it because it empowers us, because it builds us up. It creates muscles. It creates discipline that we can apply to other areas of our lives. Right? Number 4, choose habits over hacks. Any massively successful person, they will say the thing that got them there was the compound interest and the compound effect of empowering habits done every day. You will rarely hear a really successful person using a word like hack or a cheat code or something like that, okay? And number 5, the fifth and final, is to audit your current belief system. Become conscious of that. Catch it. Catch where you alter your beliefs. Create consciousness around it. Where did it come from? Where did I adopt this? Do I want to keep this? Does it serve me? Okay. So those are the 5. That's all I got for today. Let me know in the chat, guys, if this was valuable for you today. Share some takeaways, share some questions, share some comments. Let us know what you think, right? I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. If you're not in the United States, if you're listening right now, don't be surprised if us Americans were kind of quiet the rest of the week, right? Except for Black Friday sales, because we'll be on all over that, right? I wish everyone a happy and a healthy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Really, really enjoy your day with your family. Don't do any work. Enjoy your family. And I'll see all of you guys around. See ya.
to believe.